Andy, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's the 100th podcast. It's Andy and Joel at Codebreak on the Stay Hungry podcast. How are you?
Really good. Can't believe it's been 100 already. Where does the time go? Just when I think it's dragging.
Brilliant. Brilliant. What a positive start to our 100th podcast.
100 podcasts, my God. Wow. I can't believe that.
So and I will mention this later, one of my favourite podcasts is Off the Menu with James Acaster. And yesterday I listened to their 65th podcast, and I've been listening to that for ages. So we have been churning these out. We've been doing a good job.
Wow. We talked about him before. He's not the guy from The Last Leg, is he?
No, that's Josh Widdicombe. But they do both have quite floppy hair.
They're both ginger.
James is more ginger than Josh, but yes.
Yeah, okay. Got 100 podcasts. So what are we going to be talking about today then, John?
So, if you started a new business tomorrow, so you, Andy Ray, how would you market it? And I've got some example businesses, and we can discuss it, go into it. I'm also going to lean on some of my favourite podcasts and go into their
I've got a
themes.
favourite podcast.
Okay, yeah, well, you can do the same.
Oh, okay.
We'll have a little bit of a chat about our favourite podcast memories, some of the things that have happened. If it's not the interrupting cow, something's very wrong. And then I think we'll finish with some thank yous.
Oh, okay, brilliant, excellent.
So, Mr. Ray, you're starting a restaurant. I need to know...
Plant-based?
Well, we can decide. I need to know your best starter, your best main course, your best dessert and your best drink, and then we're going to come up with the target audience and the marketing for this bad boy.
So best, you mean favourite? Like if I was on death row?
It could be your favourite. And this is stolen from Off the Menu a little bit. But I'm also thinking, as a marketer, what will you know the masses are going to want? What will get people in?
Oh, okay, right, okay.
But you could go with your favourite and say, right, and then we'll go after people that are like you.
Because that's a balance we've got for quite a few clients at the moment, going for the volume, like the masses, but also niching down. So I'd like to think morally I'd open up a plant-based restaurant.
Okay.
But where we live, I don't think it would have the volume that I want. Obviously, I know it's a massively growing area, and some people think it's trendy, and of course, some vegans are not too happy with lots of people jumping on what they see as a bit of a bandwagon. Then, of course, there's a whole debate between vegan and plant-based. You know, I don't eat meat, but I'll wear leather trousers, kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
I must make clear, I don't wear leather trousers.
But you would wear leather shoes.
I wouldn't go out of my way to look for non-leather shoes. Now, that's one of my favourite Friends episodes where Ross wears the leather trousers. Have you seen that one? I was watching that with Holly, and Holly is 10. Well, she was literally wetting herself when he couldn't get them back on.
I've got a theory about Friends.
Oh, go on. Don't spoil it.
Every time the writers run out of ideas, they do a bully Ross episode.
Oh, I was going to say make Ross angry episode.
So you've got like his trousers is one, his teeth.
Oh, the teeth
is the other. I think there's one that's very inappropriate where he's very tanned.
I don't think it's inappropriate. He just he goes for he has an accident in the spray tanning.
There's one where he can't get the sofa up the stairs.
Oh, pivot.
Yeah. And the one where someone takes his sandwich. Now, they're the 5 that come to mind.
I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure the best-selling Friends T-shirt is the one of him and the picture of him and Rachel carrying the sofa. It just says pivot in big letters.
And the lifts out of order kind of thing. And yeah.
No, I love it. So Holly is now on season 9 of Friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's been binging it all.
Holly's 10, right?
Yeah.
I guess I probably started watching it when I was 10. That makes you feel old.
I wasn't too happy about it, but then she said quite a few of her friends watch it. I was just aware that I definitely remember the porn episode. In fact, there's a couple of porn episodes, and it's like, so of course Holly comes into me and asks what porn is one day. Yeah, and I said, well, you know, Joey and Chandler like watching Baywatch, and you got the women running in slow motion. So porn's like that sort of, you know,
grown up stuff,
not wearing much, and right, I'm busy now. I've got to do some work.
Yeah, ask your mum.
Yeah, ask your mum.
Right. What's your starter then in this plant-based restaurant, and where is this restaurant?
Oh, are we definitely going plant-based then?
Yeah,
right.
I thought you said
I'd like to, but if we're talking put my business commercial head on, I'm not sure that for the money time reward I'd want that Shrewsbury is ready for.
So you're opening in Shrewsbury. That's where you're heading with this business.
Oh, okay. I can open it anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Okay.
Because obviously, if you open in Shoreditch, I reckon there's some money to be made in plant-based.
Oh, God, tons. Well, one of the vegan runners I follow on Instagram, she's doing lots of hiking and walking around the southwest, and she hasn't named specific towns, but according to her posts, she's literally been abused in cafes for like asking for like milk alternatives and stuff.
In the southwest of this country?
Yeah, and she's like, I can't wait to go back to London where I can ask for like a different kind of milk and I don't get like shot.
Yeah, I could see some areas around here where if you asked for almond milk, they'd look at you a bit strange.
Really? Wow.
Maybe the south of the country.
Okay. Right, starter. Right, let's park the plant-based thing. Starter, I'll go with. I'm a big fan of Rick Stein. I'll go with some kind of scallop, lardon, pea puree kind of thing.
Oh, black pudding.
Oh, okay, yeah, black ones. Yeah. That's the one thing I could never do. In fact, I remember nicking James Ball's sandwich at school, taking a massive bite out of it.
Hang on, you're about to tell me that someone at school had a black pudding sandwich?
James Ball.
Mental.
I don't remember his name. Yeah,
that's mental.
He's a very successful photographer over in New Zealand or Australia.
Yeah, but he also eats black pudding sandwiches. I mean, I like black pudding, but that's insane.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I think it literally was just black pudding and sandwich. But anyway, I was just being stupid, nicked his sandwich, took a massive bite over it, and then goes, what's this? And he goes, it's black pudding. And just as the maths teacher walked in, I was there vomiting black pudding sandwich into the bin. Yeah,
properly vomiting.
Yeah, that was a low point.
Okay, we won't put black pudding on these scallops then. Pea puree and
lardon, something like that. Yeah. Does that work? That seems to be.
You mean little bits of bacon?
Yeah, right. It's like French for like little bits of bacon. And on MasterChef, loads of people seem to do that for a starter. So maybe it's too.
Yeah, there's always a bit of mint in the pea puree, isn't there? That's the kind of the.
Oh, Emma does a lovely pea puree, but it's like mushy peas, I suppose, isn't it? Really.
Well, that's what we call it.
No, okay. A bit posh, I suppose. Yeah, so that'd probably be my starter.
Okay, all right. I'll see what kind of restaurant this might be.
Okay.
What's your main?
I'm just thinking back to Rick Stein again now. I'd say like lobster thermidor with like sort of straw fries.
Fucking hell.
Why do we do this again? We talk about food before we've had lunch. And obviously I'm still doing this 16-8 diet. So I'm in pain till like about 1 o'clock when I can eat.
Do you know what the worst thing was yesterday?
Go on.
Went to the in-laws for dinner. Dinner was late.
What time's late?
9:30.
You can't eat at 9:30.
Well, no, I can't. So that was miserable.
So you didn't eat?
I didn't eat as much as I wanted to.
Hang on, right. Obviously, your in-laws are lovely, I know, but
so
who eats at 9:30?
There was because we were having a garden party,
right?
Because of COVID, and the other couple that were there, cousins, I think. They've got a little one, and the little one wouldn't settle. So
Shropshire, we're all cousins.
Well, they're not. They're from near Birmingham, so
definitely cousins.
Figure that out. I was lost my track.
They got a little one that wouldn't.
They got a little one that wouldn't settle, so we couldn't have dinner till the little one chilled out.
You know what they need to do? Put whiskey in the milk.
Well, the little one was being sick anyway. So
black pudding sandwich.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so
we haven't got very far, have we?
No, we've got scallops with pea puree and lobster thermidor.
Straw fries.
What the hell are straw fries?
Just like thin fries.
Okay.
Really gone off chunky chips.
I could have guessed that, couldn't I?
Yeah, the name gives it away. Gone off chunky chips. Don't like chunky chips. If I gotta have chips, I like fries.
Heavy potato for me is hard work. So chunky chips or like boiled potatoes. Remember that as a kid?
New potatoes, I never have and never will get. Like, no. Roast potatoes. Oh.
Do you have that thing? This is really not a marketing podcast right now, but it will be, I promise. Where if you eat a boiled potato...
We should get a food guest in. Who's a good foodie?
Oh, there's loads around here. Oh, Shropshire Lad. Shropshire Lad, if you're listening, Adam, I want you on. He's cool. Yes.
Someone actually knows what they're talking about rather than us.
And my wife knows him, so I should...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Adam, this might apply to you. When you try and eat new potatoes or boiled potatoes, they just don't go past my throat.
Yeah, I won't eat them.
I can't... How do you swallow them?
I won't eat them now. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to have like a bit of fish with some salad and new potatoes. No. I can't think of many meals that wouldn't be enhanced by a roast potato.
So, funnily enough, I listened to a podcast this morning, speaking of off the menu, where they said, name me a food that wouldn't be better with toasted almonds on it.
Oh, okay.
Any food. And they were like, you can't name a dessert that wouldn't be better with toasted almonds. You can't name... And it just...
Wow.
They enhance all food. Blew my mind.
Oh.
Anyway, what's your dessert?
Well, we talk about brownies a lot, and I'm struggling to see
Those
past
brownies.
the lady who supplies our brownies that we send out to clients and prospects and stuff. That with some double cream, some brownie desserts.
Okay, and what are we washing it all down with?
Well, I don't drink now, so
Well, that's okay. Not Vimto.
You mentioned Vimto straight away. Think of my nan. That whenever I went round to stay with my nan as a kid, she just had literally bucket loads of Vimto. Is it an old person's thing?
I think it's reinvented now, but very much
like Lucozade used to be an old
I used to go to my auntie. Yeah, that's where I was going. Never mind. I used to go to my auntie and uncle's house. If I was sprightly, I had Vimto. If I felt a bit unwell, Lucozade.
So when I was working at Pearl and Dean, it was great to be involved in the sort of the Lucozade rebrand when they tied in with the Angelina Jolie Lara Croft films. So they used that creative to remarket Lucozade as a cool drink for younger people.
Genuinely, you could buy it in chemists before then, and then it became like a supermarket drink.
Yeah,
and obviously then they did Lucozade Sport, and it blew up.
Massive. But yeah, Vim. So what do I wash it down? Oh God, well, sort of fish, I suppose some kind of bubbles actually.
Non-alcoholic bubbles.
Right, okay. So if I was going to be non-alcoholic, I've got to be honest, I can't think of anything much better than water, but that won't work in a restaurant. So we'll just go with some nice champagne, some alcoholic champagne then. So my vegan teetotal restaurant ain't looking too good, is it?
No, and it sounds like it's bloody expensive as well.
Hey, Joel, business is business.
So where is this restaurant? Because you've set the scallops, lobster thermidor, pretty special brownies and champagne.
So somewhere in Shropshire. So even Shrewsbury, to be honest, because we know there's money locally, and I think there is a gap for there are some lovely restaurants. In fact, has that new French place open on Fish Street yet?
No idea.
Probably bad timing really. But to open a sort of real, nice sort of top tier restaurant.
Why?
Not many covers. Small, intimate. Yeah, can't be doing with the big thing. So more focus on quality and service, where you're not like looking around trying to get served for 40 minutes like that restaurant that me and you went to. Remember, we were the only people in it, well, apart from one other table, and it took 40 minutes.
It still annoys me, and they play in the same price bracket as what we're about to talk about, I'd say.
Yeah, and they seem busy though, so hey, there definitely is money around.
Well, I think because it's status. I think if you're seen in a place like that, and this is a very big glossy version of what we're talking about, certain people, it's like attending the golf club, or
Well, it's like our work lunches, like why we go to KFC rather than McDonald's now, so they look a bit classier.
KFC have done something brilliant with their marketing. We should pick up on that in a minute. So,
okay, cool. Where's the KFC around here? Where's one in
the town centre, and there's one at Battlefield.
Where's the town centre one?
Next to Holland and Broadbridge.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, and the one in Battlefield, I suppose that's surrounded by empty restaurants now, because Chiquitos has gone.
Yeah.
Frankie and Benny's has gone.
Right.
So that's my meal anyway. That's almost like my death row meal, basically.
Okay, so I think everyone's got a picture of what type of restaurant this is now. So it's day one of your restaurant. What's the first marketing move you make?
Okay, so are we assuming that the foundations I want in place have been, so like a website and stuff? And
yeah, let's say you've got a relatively simple website, easy to see the menu, easy to book a table. So that, I would say any restaurant should have that now, especially in COVID times. You've got to be able to book.
So do you think that me and you saying stuff like this, for us, and to be honest, a lot of business owners, it will be common sense, but yet we still see businesses open
making the same mistakes?
Yeah, well, their website hasn't gone live yet, and it's just a holding page. It's like, well, you knew when you were opening, or they've spent all their money on their restaurant or whatever business it is, and so they've gone down the free do-it-yourself website route. And obviously, I do understand the appeal, and there's some very clever advertising for websites at the moment. Say, build your website for free. Oh, I'll have some of that. Okay, your website looks shit, and you're trying to sell a premium product or service. The two don't marry.
Yeah, I think it's easy for us to say that, isn't it, as marketers, because it sounds like we're on the hard sell, but it really is about the planning. It's about when you're talking to your accountant before you get the business off the ground. Right, this is what I need to build. This is the asset that I need. But how much money do I need to get that going? And that could be website, that could be marketing, that could be direct mail campaigns, whatever it might be. And I really, really urge everybody who's thinking about starting a business to look at it like that. That every time, if you overspend on one area, it's going to affect one of the other areas, and you can't make that up unless you're willing to work, particularly restaurants, because you're going to be working long days. You're going to find very quickly you haven't got time to catch up.
So I did a second half marathon yesterday. Now, I didn't just start running and start doing a half marathon. I had certain things in place and built up over time. And for me, same as running a business, you don't just suddenly throw everything at opening the business without getting certain foundations in place and having a number of marketing pillars to support your business. But one is, now I'm not saying you mustn't build your website for free yourself. You might have an excellent eye, know what you're doing, you've done your research, and you can do it quickly, and it might be a better option for you. But chances are it's going to take you weeks and weeks and weeks, and you think, oh, brilliant, that I've saved myself lots of money. It's like, well, no, you haven't, because it's just taken you weeks and weeks and weeks. So imagine what you could have done in that time and just bunged a web designer a few quid. So for us, common sense, but have your website there ready in place. I'd definitely do a launch evening and get some movers and shakers around.
I think, obviously, I'm fortunate to have a friend who works in the restaurant industry at a very high, works for some major restaurants, and every time they open, they'll do a soft launch where maybe the first 2 nights they fill it with people who are eating for free. The second 2 nights they fill it with people who are eating at half price, but to train the staff on how to use all the point of sale systems and get everything working.
I knew you were mates with them for a reason.
Is he? He's yet to let me go to one of these trial nights.
Oh, right. Need to bin him then.
But he has taken me to restaurants before, so I should get that in. But then night 5 or night 6 or night 7 is where they go live.
Yeah.
And you've done that trial run, you've eased yourself in. The amount of businesses, not just restaurants, that we see that just try and hit the ground running, and then they're putting out fires left, right and centre.
And scrimping on the, I can't say manpower, whatever the alternative is, manpower, woman power, but some kind of people-based power, where so much of the quality of enjoyment of a restaurant, and I suppose a bar and stuff as well, is the service.
Yeah.
And lovely food, amazing, but you're sat waiting 45 minutes for it, or you want a new drink and you can't catch anyone's eye because there's one waiter. And so, like you say, it's important to have that time to iron out those practicalities.
Yeah.
And so often people look over those little things, but when you compound those little things, they add up to something that could make or break an evening.
Yeah, I've had 2 incidents in restaurants recently, both, I think, terrible from a marketing perspective.
Okay.
One, went to a restaurant, ordered the same meal as my wife. It took a long time to come.
What'd you have?
It was what's it called when you hammer pork and bread it?
Oh, like a scallop?
Yeah, but it wasn't. Schnitzel.
Oh, schnitzel. Yeah, okay.
So both ordered schnitzel, came with dauphinoise potatoes and some greens.
Dauphinoise, posh, like it.
The difference between my dish and my wife's dish in portion size was ridiculous.
They arrived at the same time.
Mine looked like it was like the final thought of the night.
They're trying to tell you something?
Well, maybe. But
Really?
That, for me, it's like portion control within your restaurant environment is so important, because you can't serve 2 people on the same table the same meal and give them entirely different plates. That's insane. So that wound me up big time. And I don't raise things in restaurants because I have social anxiety around that kind of thing.
Right, okay.
But my wife did.
And what did she say? Afterwards or before?
During. And they just said, oh, sorry, we've been really busy.
Well, don't care.
So we haven't been since, obviously. Second time, booked a table.
So what's being really busy got to do with portion size? That's like the shittest excuse ever.
Yeah, blows my mind. Second time.
The chef's blind. Okay, I understand that.
Booked a table in a restaurant garden because we were meeting people and we weren't comfortable about being inside.
Right.
Got there. It had been a bit of a rainy day, but it wasn't raining then. Found our table in the garden, sat down, ordered some drinks. Had to order on an app for food.
Okay.
Ordered on the app.
Sounds cool.
A waiter came scurrying out to the garden. Sorry, I've refunded your order on the app. We're not taking orders in the garden this evening. We're too busy. Will you let me book a table?
Oh, right. What'd you do then?
Drank our drinks and left.
And went somewhere else and gave you money somewhere else. Wow.
But those sort of little things, the sort of thing, I'll never forget that there was the pub that did that to us. I'll never forget it because I'm stubborn.
It's just one of many reasons why I think so many business owners find it hard to relinquish control because, okay, the business owner, that could have been the business owner you spoke to, I suppose. The business owner could have been there and fully aware of the situation. But I'd say when something goes wrong in a business, say you get bad service in a shop or whatever, chances are the business owner doesn't know it's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, so in both those instances, I would say the business owner would probably do something to make it right. Now, I'm not an advocate of them bending over backwards to make it right because I know how that feels. But certainly give us a round of drinks for free or find a space in the restaurant or whatever it might be. Something that doesn't cost you a lot but just is a gesture of goodwill. Anyway.
Wow.
It's day one of your restaurant. You've got a website. You've got a booking system. What's your first move?
Yeah, so get the movers and shakers because obviously this is, I suppose, a restaurant focused on lower numbers but higher prices.
Yeah, so you're talking the local mayor, some local dignitaries,
me and you,
press, yeah,
minor marketing celebrities.
Knowing us, probably a wrestler or something.
Got to get the local glossy magazine. Invite them around. You know, we're still. A lot of people think we're anti-press because most of our work is digital marketing, but we got loads of clients we incorporate press into. So whether that's PR, editorials, whatever, even advertisements. So make sure them around. So I do. You know, I'm not a massive risk taker, so I do like a number of marketing pillars, and that's how we'd always advise our clients. You know, it doesn't need to be like 20 marketing pillars supporting your business, but you need a few. So if one goes pear-shaped, doesn't matter, your business doesn't fall over. So you need to have, so in this case, magazine, probably not an ad, but see if you can get them around into like this kind of social scene section. Facebook ads, a must. Now, a lot of people do look at Facebook ads as, they can look at a bit down markets, but obviously you can still target affluent people. At the moment, you can't target people in the UK by household income, but you can still, of course, target them by interest. So to target people interested in fine dining, luxury holidays, certain car brands, things like that, be very important. And I don't think I would ever not have some kind of Facebook ad running targeting those people.
Yep.
Because there are people with a restaurant that won't go straight away because they will still think, no matter what you've done, they will still think, let's let them iron out the problems first. Let's go in week 2, week 3.
Early adopters versus late adopters.
Yeah, let's wait and see what the feedback's like. So social media all the way. And to be honest, we've helped so many restaurants over the years, and social media is a massive part of it. So for this, it would be Facebook and Instagram, but I'd probably also be looking after my LinkedIn because, you know, business owners or a certain number of business owners would be of good interest to you. Suppliers, things like that.
And I guess particularly with the type of restaurant you're talking about, business owners are going to be a key part of your target audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So, fishermen, they'd be good for my lobster.
I'd say, particularly high-end restaurant, you put it all on the line and invite a couple of food critics as well. Yeah,
I was going to think of that one. Don't want to name his name, but to get them around because obviously they are, butter them up nicely first, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. But surely your product is the core part of the experience here, and if you're scared to get a critic in, it means you don't have enough faith in your product. Okay,
so agree with you in terms of how maybe people are more cynical than they were before now. A good review off a respected food critic or a ton of 4 or 5-star reviews from Joe Public?
High-end restaurant. Both.
Okay.
Because I think there's foodies out there that literally hang on every word of some of these critics. If you're opening a burger joint, don't worry about what the critic's saying. You want the people who, love barbecue or love like the greasy type of.
5 years ago, would have opened a burger restaurant now, like the World and His Wife are doing it, but.
Yeah.
I think high.
Chicken's the next big one.
I do love the appeal of a volume-driven business. Always keep coming back to have, not charging that much, but getting loads and loads of people in. So if someone doesn't like it or they won't come again, doesn't matter. But I know long-term, it's going for more the quality.
I was going to say, can you imagine how good the systems have to be in a volume-driven business?
Well, looking like, if people watching or listening haven't watched The Founder yet with Michael Keaton, which is the story about Ray Kroc and how he took McDonald's from being a little 3-restaurant job owned by the McDonald brothers into the global entity it is now in terms of systems and processes. It didn't get very good reviews, that film, but it's a fantastic story.
They're wrong. It's a bloody good film.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Do you think that's because we're business owners?
Probably. Yeah. If I'm being fair, I think because he's not a very likable character, is he, in the film? And obviously the whole film centres on him. But I just like how he simplifies everything all the time, and that kind of fuels his expansion.
We're on a get rid of grey areas drive, as you know, and grey areas are bad. And in McDonald's, it's like, this is how you do a burger. There's no other way to do a burger. There's no other way to do chips. This is how we do it. It's written down. It's probably videoed now. You follow this process. You follow this system using this equipment, and that's how you've taken over the world.
Do you know what blows my mind about McDonald's in this country versus McDonald's in America?
I've never been to McDonald's in America.
Okay. So I think in this country, some staff get away with not providing very good service. They can still be grumpy. Oh, okay. You wouldn't get that in a McDonald's in America.
They get sacked?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a big part of the...
So even when they say, have a nice day, and you think, you don't mean that.
You said that to everybody.
You don't mean that. You're just saying it because you have to. But I'd still probably rather take that false happiness.
Or that maybe they do mean it.
But the portion size are the same.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I was staggered. I mean, not in McDonald's, but when I hadn't been to America for, 20 odd years or something. I just couldn't believe how big the food was, like everywhere.
Yeah, Florida was like that, huge, but New York was quite stingy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I was watching Jamie Oliver in New York, and he was like in some kind of famous deli doing like a pastrami sandwich.
Oh, no, to be fair, I did go to Cat's Deli, and the pastrami sandwich is massive.
That's a loaf. That's not a sandwich.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Okay, so how do you know that these marketing steps you've taken in the early doors of your new restaurant are working? I mean, there's an obvious answer, but
people in my restaurant.
Yeah.
People are eating, people are happy. So you've got to be spot checking. Mm-hmm. So how's a meal? Someone really clued up front of house who's looking, who's watching, who making people accountable. Because like you say, if you've got a waiter or waitress turns up in a bad mood, I'm sorry, that I'm sympathetic, but that shit has to stop at the door because it doesn't make a difference to the person who's paying their hard-earned money to eat in that restaurant. Capturing reviews, obviously very important.
Just about to say that, yeah.
Got to encourage people, and not everyone will do it. It will be a numbers game, but got to encourage people to leave reviews on what you think the best platforms would be for you.
I guess as well, the beauty of having that booking system front end and then implementing some sort of review capture system as well, whether that be an app, a website, whatever, means you're capturing a lot of data. Mm-hmm. And for the future success of your restaurant, you need to be regularly communicating with your database. And particularly for a restaurant, here's a tip for restaurateurs out there. If you can get people's birthdays, it doesn't matter whether you're high-end, whether you're fast food, if you can say to someone, 50% off for you when you dine on your birthday, or free bottle of bubbles when you dine on your birthday, that really does make a massive difference.
So many people, so many restaurants especially, they don't capture data. And like I just said, it will be a numbers game. Some people won't fill out that review card and leave their email address, whatever it might be. But if you don't ask, you don't get. And that person leaves your restaurant, and they might go and tell all their friends how nice it was. But guess what? They've got other shit going on in their lives.
Yeah.
And so if your marketing strategy is, I'm going to provide such good quality food and service that everyone is going to recommend me to all their friends, and you're on very dodgy ground.
Just sprung an idea with me, actually. We met a chap last week who installs Wi-Fi in restaurants, pubs and bars.
Oh, yeah.
And in order to get the free Wi-Fi when you're in the restaurant, you have to register. I mean, every restaurant should be doing that, surely. Yeah. I mean, it's a free advert for him. Every restaurant should be doing that.
There are ways, and data is going to be even more important, and people don't have to give it. You've got to be upfront about it, of course, but data is king. Hi there, it's Andy at Codebreak. Thanks for listening to the Stay Hungry podcast. It's business owners like you that keep the wheels of the world turning. Did you know that Codebreak offers a marketing consultancy service? Visit codebreak.co.uk today and book your discovery call with me or Joel, and let's skyrocket your business together. We can't wait to hear about your goals.
Oh, who's that guy?
I sound very firm on that. I just said data was king, or content is king. That was the guy who paraphrased that. He died last week.
Yeah,
Can't think of his bloody name now.
You've done it now.
But if content's king, data's certainly queen.
Can you say that anymore? King and queen, emperor, empress.
Oh, like king is more important than queen. You mean?
Yeah.
Oh right. I don't know. I can't drill down that deep. Otherwise, I will just sit here like a mute and not say anything.
I've got another one. I've got
fear
another
of offending someone.
I've got another one for you later in some copy that you've written.
Oh really? Did I say manpower again?
You say guys.
Can you not say hey guys?
No. That was on a Gary V podcast. He said it to his team, and one of his team took him to one side, so I found that very offensive.
Because you didn't say guys and girls?
He says gang now. He says hey gang.
Wow.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Well, interesting is one word, yeah.
Right. Restaurant done.
That's how Joel moves me on in case I say something.
Yeah. Restaurant done.
Right. Okay.
Classic car auction.
Oh, God.
So.
Don't know anything about classic cars. I know a man who does.
But we do know. But yeah, he doesn't do auctions, does he? But
so this is where you go and bid money on a classic car to do up or something?
Maybe to do up or to buy one that's already been done up. But obviously your audience is going to have to be interested in classic cars. Mm. I guess you probably could.
Certain age.
Mechanics, yeah. Classics, mechanics. Engineers, I guess, might have that kind of...
They should be easy to target. I mean sometimes I think... Do people think that Facebook ads are the cure for everything? Well, no, they're not. But if you want to target people, if you want to niche down to people by interest, demographics, or whatever, there just aren't any other vehicles that are as cost effective.
I always feel like as well with auctioneers and the auction industry, they probably read the newspaper. I don't know why. It's just a bit of a...
And there'll be some classic car magazine, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Loads of classic car mags, exactly. So your auction's in 2 weeks' time. What are you doing to make sure that your showroom? Let's assume it's not COVID. What are you doing to make sure your showrooms or your auction room? I don't even know what it's called. Is full.
So this is like a special event then.
Well, yeah. So we know an auctioneer, and they run 2 auctions a month, different themes, and basically, they get. Well, they used to get people in a big room, literally a man at the front with a hammer or whatever it's called, and away they go. So, how are we getting people in the room for this classic car?
But you can just turn up. You're down to register anything like that.
No, yeah, you just show up, and then I think you get given a number. And that's what you hold up, I guess, when you bid.
Okay, sounds pretty cool actually.
We should go to one.
Yeah, that's I've
been to a comic book auction.
Honestly, what kind of prices?
Some of them were like not valuable at all, so it was like £2 for a box full of comics,
right? And
then some were going for like £500-600 for one comic.
Wow, I should have kept my albinos.
Yeah, absolutely, but you'd have had to put them in like a polythene bag and never broke the seal.
I'd have to call my mum. I bet she's throwing them away. So I started getting the Beano in 81 or 82, I think. So do you reckon they'd be worth something now then?
There'll be certain ones that I would have thought might have value. Obviously, the Beano is incredibly popular, so...
Is it still going?
I would have thought so.
I just don't know. I mean, what do kids... My kids don't read any comics. I struggle to get them to read
Did you ever
books.
try and get them on comics?
No, I wanted them to read.
I want you to read novels now.
Yeah, Shakespeare. Good quality education. I find it... I find it strange because both of my kids, they like a bit of escapism, like most kids. And for me, there's not much better escapism than a novel. So I thought something when they were younger, something like The Famous Five and Secret Islands and Tunnels and all that stuff, they'd love. But no.
What did you read to them when they were very little?
Oh, Julia Donaldson.
Okay.
Yeah, big. Yeah, they love Julia Donaldson. So even at Christmas now, we'll watch the Gruffalo or something.
I was about to say that is the Gruffalo, right?
Yeah, Gruffalo,
passed me by.
Snare on the Whale. Highway Rat. God, she's done bloody loads of them.
Cool.
The kids love that, but No, comics. The nearest
them
they
by.
get is watching it. They'd rather watch the Avengers than read about them.
Yeah, see, I've done it the wrong way round. Well, no, I kind of was into Batman when I was a kid, but now I've seen all the, my entire teens and then all my adult years has been filled with superhero films, and I kind of reverse engineered back to the source material. But anyway, how are we getting people to this auction?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Comic auction? No, classic cars.
Classic cars.
Classic cars. Okay, so targeted Facebook ads. You can do event kind of response ads. You can. We've done this for a number of clients where you can have an event on Facebook, or if it's paid for, or you want to know numbers, you can have it on something like Eventbrite where people do need to register, and of course that will give you more data. Probably not of interest to a classic car thing, but once people are there, again, no harm in asking for their data. Give them an incentive, and a lot of people don't do this. We talked about restaurants, like, okay, what do you get? So, well, if you write your birthday, when your birthday comes around, you can get 50% off your meal. There's no point just asking for stuff now. People need an incentive.
Yeah.
Even now, I'd say most service-based websites, professional services, will have somewhere on the website, fill out this
Sign up to
form
our newsletter. Yeah.
Why? Well, I'll give you free advice. Okay, well, make that clear. But also, you need to give something away.
Yeah. So what? Because that's a toughie, isn't it, for an auctioneer? What are they going to do? What gets people in the room?
Something cool, be a driving experience. Like drive this E-type, have an E-type Jag for the day or something.
Yeah, I guess you're trying to get 400 people in the room. Or do you have something there at the event? So get a photo in a Lamborghini, or...
Speaking of cars, saw on LinkedIn today, someone's basically not ripped off. Well, it's actually, that is the word, innocently, a James Bond poster, and they've actually got the 007 logo on it, and Eon Productions will not be very happy.
Someone we know?
Someone we're connected to online, but we don't personally know.
Okay.
And it's like...
Why would you do that?
I wouldn't tell them publicly, although some people would. Do I message her privately? But then, to be honest, I've got stuff going on in my business. But it's like they've literally done a pun on a James Bond film title, and it's got these two people on it holding guns like James Bond does, but it literally does say 007 using the 007 logo with the gun as the 7.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Can't do that.
Can't do shit like that. But it's been like professionally packaged and designed and everything. It's like, someone should have told you this.
I can't wait to see this.
I'll show you afterwards.
It's the sort of thing that really grinds my gears.
But there are people out there who do it and see if they get away with. But these people, I'm sure, are doing it innocently. But you don't want to fuck around with a company the size of Eon Productions.
MGM, yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's... how do we get onto that subject?
I want you to tell me how you're going to get people to this car auction.
Yeah, okay, so just chuck everything at Facebook ads. No, I would do whatever classic car magazines there are out there, but something like that, there needs to be consistency. It's not like, oh shit, I've got an event in 2 weeks, let's bung an ad in there.
Yeah.
You need to, and we say this generally, if press ads come up to clients, we say, better to have something small in a magazine, but it's there every week month. Or every month or whatever, letting people know when your auctions are coming around.
What about something like a horse racing magazine? So...
I don't get horse racing.
No, but let's...
Do you get it? Do you gamble?
Do I gamble?
Yeah.
On football, yeah.
You do?
Yeah. But I'm very disciplined. You know what I'm like. So...
Special.
I put 20 quid in my gambling account every season, and if I lose it, I lose it.
20 quid a season?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like a week or something.
No, I'm very, very disciplined. But at the minute, I haven't had to put money into my account for 4 seasons. Because I'm up.
So what do you do? Do you literally go online and something?
Just put £1 on, say, first goal scorer, or...
Is this all on Shrewsbury? To do a Shrewsbury
Yeah,
Town?
it would be for me. Yeah.
You don't go and bet on like, he's going to score for Arsenal?
No, sometimes I do accumulators. So
what's that?
It would be like, I'll try and predict win, lose or draw on 5 matches, but they all have to be right for me to win. So then you only put 50p in.
But you don't give a score? Just win, lose or draw?
Win, lose or draw across 5 games. 50p down, and you could maybe come away with, say, £100.
Bloody hell. All in the same league?
No, you can do it across world football.
Oh God, you're going to get me into gambling now. Bloody hell.
So we'll do that. I mean, never comes off, but we'll do that because it keeps you. Imagine sitting in the cold in December watching the football with a flask, and you're sort of flicking through the other results at the same time. It keeps you interested in what's going on in the rest of the football world. It's sort of just a. But I'd never walk into a betting shop and say, right, 50 quid on red rum, let's go.
This is going to sound, I'll phrase it carefully, horrible now, but when I see people coming out of betting shops, I feel a bit sad, and I'd say that they don't usually look like they can afford to lose money.
Well, yeah, hopefully it's being addressed slightly now, I think.
Why what's happened?
Well, they've taken out the fixed odds betting machines because people were literally dropping hundreds of pounds. But no, I mean, to pull it back to my
right, talk about racing magazines.
So say Cheltenham is coming up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And you've got, that audience is probably similar to your audience, or Glorious Goodwood. So obviously Goodwood Festival of Speed is hosted at the same place. So that audience is probably quite a similar type of... So you could almost cross-promote. You could say, right, well, let's promote our event in that, because I know that probably a 65% match between that audience and mine. And that's something that a lot of businesses don't do. Same with a restaurant that serves lobster thermidor. They could certainly put themselves in a wine magazine. Or,
yes.
They could maybe go in like the local glossy in terms of like make sure they've got an advert after all the new homes or after the estate agent section. That kind of like, who's going to be looking at this and would they be interested in what I do kind of marketing mentality.
Also, it comes down to knowing your customer avatar. I'd say a lot of business owners are still looking at anyone and everyone. And okay, I suppose you, to a certain extent, you take anyone's money, but you've got to have that customer in mind. I was saying to somebody the other day, I think it was on one of our a call with a prospect, that some business owners will actually give their customer avatar a name, and they'll say to their staff, right, remember, we're writing for Jane or Bob.
Is that a gizmo? Yeah.
Bob is 50 years old. Bob is married. He lives in a 4-bedroom house. He's got that kind of thing.
We're heading that way.
So
big time, aren't we? Big time. We, as a business, and this would apply to restaurants, car auctions, the next one I'm going to suggest, you reach a point in your business life cycle where you would rather take the risk of losing a potential prospect who might fit the bill than you would in gaining two that don't fit the bill, because the two that don't fit the bill end up being unprofitable or demoralising.
Yeah.
And that's taken me a long time to get my head to where I'm comfortable with that.
It's hard to explain. I mean, if you're in a business that just sells widgets, and chances are it's just a one-off widget, and it's volume driven, the margins are good, okay, great. But if you're into repeat business, referrals, or maybe you're tying people into a year's contract where you're going to have to look after these people, you've got to get those people right, because one of our rules is like no dickheads, and it says on our website, these are here's a list. Yeah, here's a list of the people we can and can't help. And ours is a relationship business, and I've just been doing this too long to work with dickheads. Now, I don't mean people who are demanding. There's nothing wrong with being demanding. You're paying money. Be demanding. But I tell you something, don't be a dick about it. Don't be rude about it. And don't ever talk to my staff like they're idiots.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be off.
Because I guess from the off, it's our role as business owners, and certainly George's role as a manager in our business, to set the foundations with that client. We will be doing everything in our power to achieve the things you told us you want us to achieve. So if you ring up with a dickhead tone after that point, you clearly didn't get the memo where we said we're doing everything. Now, obviously, if we're not doing the things we said we were going to do, that's very, very different.
Yeah.
But if I find out any of our team weren't doing what we said we'd do, it would be a lot worse for them than if the client was upset.
Well, I'd say service as substandard has almost become the norm in a lot of businesses, and there is that culture, I think sometimes of having to feel you have to not be rude, but to always be on at people to make sure you are getting what you're paying for. And it's like you just said, you don't have to cheer us up, you don't have to ring us up and be belligerent or demanding, because to be honest, that's just going to make us more likely to not invest as much of ourselves. And we will be working our asses off for you if you're going to be rude and think that by calling up every day, checking, demanding stuff is going to make us work any harder for you, it's literally going to do the opposite.
That's not how it works, yeah.
And this is the danger. If you choose a supplier who doesn't provide the service they should, well, you have to do that, don't you?
Yeah. So my next one, and I think this is a type of business that historically has perhaps been labelled with you kind of have to ring them up to shimmy them along.
Right, okay.
So you're going to start a solicitor practice next week. What steps would you take to attract? So I guess we need to be a bit more specific on the type of solicitor. So to conveyancing, that's one we know. I know what that is. You're going to start conveyancing solicitors next week. What steps would you take to market that business, and what would be really important about this service-based business that differentiates it from its competitors?
Okay. Blimey, that's a hard one. Conveyancing, yeah. So this is where I think if you're talking about a certain geographical area where someone's got to do some pavement pounding, getting in, I'm talking about networking or whatever. There are quite a few actual sort of property-based networking groups now. So to get in with the right people, so in terms of referrers, so whether that's estate agents, landlords, whatever,
property builders,
that property circle, might be a little bit hard to get into, but that's life, isn't it? So get in there, make a good impression, but something like networking has to be done consistently. It's highly unlikely you meet someone once and suddenly they just give you loads of money and loads of referrals.
Yeah,
it's about knowing this is a long-term strategy, but it's one that should be done consistently.
Leverage your contacts, basically. You go, if you've got to the point where you're setting up a conveyancing solicitor practice yourself, chances are you've been in the game a little while. That it's time to start sitting down for coffee with some of your best contacts, be that estate agents, property developers, landlords, like you say, and then really, really considering what's going to be your best source of prospects, because I guess chances are the estate agent is it. It's it'd be very unusual for someone, particularly a new home buyer or a second home buyer, to see a Facebook advert for a conveyancing solicitor and go, oh, yeah, just what I need, a conveyancing solicitor. That's not quite the same. You might retarget people who've been on your website with a Facebook advert.
Yeah.
But certainly your initial first hit is probably going to be an introduction, maybe from an accountant or a financial advisor or a estate agent. And that is I deliberately put that one in there because service-based businesses tend to acquire their prospects in a different way.
Yeah. I'd have to say landing page is a good one. So we can something like conveyancing, the stuff you can give away, almost like the pain stacking about, don't buy your house until you've read our free guide on. And obviously in return for this free information, people have to give their email address. And then in a nice way and the right way, you can stay in touch with them. Because I say, like Emma and I, we're happy in our house, to be honest. We're probably a bit too lazy to move, but we might consider it.
Yeah, that's where we are.
So it's like, so if I see something, right, okay, here are the top 10 reasons a house falls through or whatever. Oh, shit, what's that? And so it's not so much benefits driven as in like say that pain stacking, right? Oh, avoiding pain, because we know there's a lot of pain involved in buying a house.
Oh, moving house. Oh, God.
Here's how so that's definitely one thing. If we moved house, we would pay a removals person to do everything.
Literally box it up in the first place.
Oh, God, I mean, it was hard enough leaving our 2-bedroom flat in London to move back up here, and the amount of extra shit we've acquired, not to mention children and animals, since then, no way could I face doing that.
Could we save up a few grand first to know that we haven't got to do all of this shit?
Oh, yeah, but we know, in fact, there are people in my family who would almost think that's being flash and stupid. So actually, you're going to pay someone to box up stuff that you could box up yourself? Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd rather be at work.
I would rather be sticking things in my eyes, but I'd definitely rather be at work.
Yeah.
Earning money to pay for it. Brilliant. Happy days.
Yeah, it blows my mind. So
landing page,
big one at the moment. Obviously, there's a stamp duty holiday to the end of March, which is why the moving home conversations come up in our house. And if you're a conveyancing solicitor right now and you haven't got a landing page or some sort of campaign around the fact that people haven't got to pay stamp duty at the moment, you are missing a massive trick.
You're thinking of moving?
Well, my wife has a huge commute.
Should you move over this way more?
Yeah, and,
cool.
a bit north probably. So
Not Wem.
one of our staff lives in Wem. Not Wem.
Let me count the fingers on your hand.
I'm just doing a tour.
I
of
love Wem.
Shropshire.
Is it home of the sweet pea or something?
Yeah. So there's talk of Market Drayton, which is much more interesting because that's home of gingerbread.
Did know that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
How cool's that?
Any other interesting Shropshire facts? Apart from Charles Darwin. That's the obvious one, isn't it?
Charles Darwin, yeah. Wilfred Owen.
What's Daniel Craig? Is that Wem? There's a Daniel Craig link, definitely.
I know Gary Barlow's got a house in Shrewsbury.
Oh, what's a Daniel Craig one? Like his stepfather's in Wem or something? When he grew up.
Home of the modern Olympics, Much Wenlock.
Well, not according to that
Christmas
quiz we went to.
Yeah. Chadstone mentioning you in a bit, you bastards.
We lost a point on that one. Anyway, what to talk about? Conveyancing. Right, okay, so obviously the website has to be key. There are certain preconceptions people have of certain industries. And if you're a solicitor and you've scrimped
Hang on
your website.
Imagine being the kind of person that's still disgruntled about a question in a quiz when we won that quiz.
Not the point. We won with 80 points. It should have been 81.
Sorry, right.
Oh, actually, we beat solicitors to win, didn't we? It came to a tiebreak.
Yeah, they didn't like that, did they?
No, not at all. Sorry, Hatchers.
It's very frustrating when you and I knew the answer on the nose for the tiebreak as well.
God. Still got that champagne. Have you?
No, we just always give champagne away as gifts. It makes us look really generous.
I love it that Prosecco's still seen as a great gift. It's like,
Cheap
£3.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, solicitors, leverage your contacts.
Yeah, I think about... so, obviously, yeah, so if you can get in with estate agents, brilliant. Actually, God, this was years ago. A solicitor set up his own little boutique firm in Shrewsbury, and he was more interested in property than anything else. And he would walk around town in the evening, putting his leaflets in through people who had for sale signs. There he was, a qualified solicitor in his late 30s, early 40s, and he probably put in more legwork than most business owners are prepared to. And he grew his business very well, just unfortunately just got the wrong people in his circle, shall we say.
Okay.
But yeah, he was doing that. But we also know people like, God, I'm not doing that. Like, oh God, I'm not going networking at 6 a.m. Can't be asked to do that. It's like, well, then you might find business a bit tough. What are you prepared to do that your competitors aren't? Now, there could be a reason why none of your competitors do something. It's because it doesn't bloody work. But sometimes you have to look there, right, what am I prepared to do that they aren't? And one of them could be go around door knocking.
Yeah, no, when I started my business, I helped the local football club with a raffle, because it gave me an excuse to go into every business in the town.
Church Train has a football club?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I used to pay for it. Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Where's the ground then?
In the middle of the town, there's a football pitch bang smack in it. I mean, ground is a bit of a...
So we're not talking floodlights or...
No.
Somebody with a torch in each corner.
There's 2 goals. They don't play at night, and there's some posts around the pitch to keep people off the pitch.
Well. What position do you play?
Me? Well, as a youngster, I played left wing when I was sprightly and quick. And then as an adult... Well, Church Stratton played me in defence because I was big and strong. But then if I played in Shrewsbury, they would play me up front because I was big and strong. So either to bully defenders or bully attackers, depending who was in charge that day.
I still can't think of stuff much worse than being stood on a terrace in the winter. Like you mentioned this earlier, with a thermos, watching, is it 22 people, kick a ball about?
Well, I love it. I really miss it at the moment.
Was it Roy Keane who talked about the prawn sandwich brigade?
Yeah.
That's me. I could be in a nice warm box with the director watching. I get that. But
well, that's where the conveyancing solicitor should be as well, isn't it? I was just about to say that they should be sponsoring the property section and the local glossy. That's another one they could.
Yeah, we talk. Yeah, we're involved in a lot of sponsorship for clients, but it's something we don't talk about much on the podcast because sponsorship, if it's done correctly, and to be honest, milked for all it's worth, we see a lot of lazy sponsorship, don't we? People who sponsor an event, have a banner up somewhere, but don't do anything before, during, or after to promote it.
Oh, that blows my mind. Whole like, we're going to do a campaign. What's your campaign? We're sponsoring this event. That isn't a campaign. And it's like you've got maybe 12 weeks lead up to the event. You've got the event itself, and then you've got all the after. Something really sad about that this year. Obviously, it was meant to be the Euro 2020 tournament this year.
Was it? Where was that supposed to be?
Because it was an anniversary tournament. They were hosting it all throughout Europe rather than in a single country for the first time.
I did not see anything about that, really.
Yeah. And then the semi-final and final are at Wembley, so it was quite a coup.
Joking.
Quite a coup for England, yeah.
Bloody hell.
Obviously cancelled.
Cancelled or...
Postponed.
So next year's going to be doing this tour?
But yeah, but we don't even know if they can have fans in now or people be able to cross borders, or it's horrible.
When's the World Cup?
22.
Right, so that will go ahead as normal, hopefully.
Yeah, touch wood.
So they could still do the Euros in 2021?
That's the idea.
Yeah, because obviously they couldn't do it the same year.
That's the plan. But then it's had a knock-on because then the Women's Euros had to move and all sorts. It's really caused a fuss. But obviously, massive event, nearly on the scale of the World Cup or the Olympics, huge. So you've got brands that would traditionally sponsor this event who've done huge campaigns with a much, much bigger lead-in than 12 weeks, maybe even a 2-year lead-in through all the qualifiers and everything. So, and then suddenly postponed. Brutal. That's...
God, I can't believe it was going to be at Wembley and everything. I didn't know that at all.
Passed you by.
Blimey. No, sponsorship, brilliant. And for, to be honest, we mentioned the high-end restaurant to begin with. That could work. Definitely for a solicitor firm. You'll see a lot of legal firms sponsor various things, usually whether it is a box at the football club or...
Your local cricket club, stuff like that can work really well. Local rugby club, because it attracts the kind of people who kind of like to think of themselves as the local movers and shakers, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, it's Georgia at Codebreak. Thanks for listening to the Stay Hungry podcast. If you're hungry for more, don't forget to check out all the free marketing content on codebreak.co.uk.
Cool.
And we're back. So, 3 businesses, early doors marketing approach nailed for each one. Now, I want to know your favourite podcast memory of the last 100 episodes.
Favourite memory? Well, I wasn't involved in this one, but I'd loved listening to the Emily Leyland podcast. So when you when you spoke to her a few weeks ago, that was really cool because you covered business, you covered careers, people, mental health, not football. Thankfully.
No, I don't say much in that podcast.
That was a really cool one. Probably the first, and selfishly, probably the first one when we got this gear. So what was that? I don't know what episode number that was, but when we had all the proper, it's a lot better doing this and then seeing the difference in quality, mates, compared to having the little microphone stuck into somebody's mobile.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Nice. What about you?
Well, I did genuinely really enjoy interviewing Emily. I thought she was incredibly generous with her honesty, really, and just what she was willing to talk about. It caught me off guard. And I've been fortunate, really, with quite a few guests that we've had.
Some more to come.
Yeah, some big ones coming. Some really, really big ones coming. But the whole podcast experience has really caught me off guard. I thought it would be something that I would find awkward and difficult, and I just really, really, really enjoy it. And certainly Emily was a highlight. Mark Lloyd was great talking to me about when he was developing on Grand Theft Auto and leading the team for Grand Theft Auto 3 at Rockstar Lincoln. Then he went on to do Red Dead Redemption. Like 2 of the biggest computer games in the history of computer games, and to just have one of the studio heads kind of talking to me and going through his experiences on that, that's massive. And
so here's one then. I was talking to a client the other day, and they said about podcasts. How do you know when it's doing something for business rather than just vanity? Because I think it's something that a lot of people are leaping into now. It's like, podcasts, I've heard they're really good, I should do one. What will it do for me?
Positioning. That's the biggie, I think, is that so many more people have heard our voices, and by our voices I mean literally Joel and Andy.
I hate my voice. I really sound like my brother when I listen back to it.
But so many more people have heard our voices now and our expertise than we otherwise would have been exposed to. And it's not very intrusive either. You can listen to it in the car, you choose when to listen to it. And it's just helped us build a really cool community around it. There's people that we'd have otherwise never have met, spoken to. People in America contacting us now.
Yeah. Emma listens to podcasts when she's running. I can't do that. I need music with a beat.
Yeah, I couldn't do that in the gym.
She listens to the Rich Roll one. He's interviewing a guy who promotes like a 21-day fasting program, all medically supervised and everything. And it's like, bloody hell. So no, I couldn't run listening to that. But I'm a big fan of the Rich Roll podcast. And it's still an untapped market podcast. Hugely. I think it's far more competitive now than it was. Far, far more competitive. But it's not done. I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes the most popular entertainment medium because it's so accessible. Listen to it in bed, listen to it in the car, listen to it on a run, listen to it in the gym, listen to it whilst you're at your desk, listen to it whilst you're working from home, which is a biggie now. That certainly through lockdown, I must have got through 4 or 5 podcasts a day. Yeah. And I mean, loads of podcasts about mental health and stuff, and for some, obviously it's not just a source of entertainment, a source of learning and self-improvement. Yeah. And a lot of people have cottoned onto that now. Lockdown has taught a lot of people, and obviously there's some people who haven't been able to handle it very well, but there are some people like, right, I need some help to handle this, and they look for information, and podcasts could be one of those sources of information.
And I think what's really, really benefited both of us as business owners is the podcast allows us to be vulnerable and not be afraid of that.
Yeah, I'm not vulnerable. I ain't got time to bleed. We were watching one of our favourite Bonds the other day. It's The World Is Not Enough, and it's Q's last one.
Okay.
When he disappears down at the end, very sad. And he said, I always taught you 2 things. Always have an escape plan and never let them see you bleed. Yeah, and you ain't going to see me bleed.
Don't believe that for a second.
No, I'm a little bit vulnerable, I suppose, but no, I share a lot more on the podcast than I
thought you would.
Well, than I ever would normally. It's probably I've had a couple of family members call up and say, "Oh, I didn't know this had happened to you."
Yeah, same. And I think
but I don't do the wailing either.
The
way I don't do. Sometimes there are people out there who can. Who've got some really helpful advice to share about a touchy subject. There are other people out there who would milk that touchy subject for their own gains.
Completely agree. So I think we've tried very hard, particularly with our Ahead of the Game episodes, that we're not asking for sympathy. I just want you to know that I'm human too. And so it's easy to do business with people if they can see you on a human level.
I totally agree.
And also, I guess if I can share some of my adversities and show how I've overcome those, that might be helpful for someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not crying out for someone to ring up and offer me help for the problem I've just described.
And I could play some sad piano music in the background.
Don't. Cool. Right. So, we've got a few thank yous.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Podcast, better say thank you. So, thought we should thank our wives first, just to get that out of the way. And
the most patient women in the world, perhaps?
Both. Well, you're being very genuine. Yeah, they are both.
My wife's certainly very patient.
Yeah, they are the most patient women in the world.
She listens to our podcast now.
Does she?
Yeah. She. What did she say? Came out last night from work, and she was listening to the one she referred to us as the 2 Roddies or Morecambe and Wise.
Oh, the first bit live.
But yeah, she listens. Yeah, she's listening to another podcast of ours at the moment.
Cool.
So it's really interesting.
That's good.
Because if I start talking marketing at home, sometimes she switches off because obviously there's quite a divide in our business between she looks after more the financial side of stuff, whereas the marketing stuff, even though she'd be an awesome marketer, because back when before the children, when she was working in London, her sales and marketing skills when we go out presented together, she was awesome.
Dangerous,
yeah, awesome.
And then I thought we should thank the team. They're a good bunch of guys. Can't say that. Good gang.
I can't believe that's about it, because who always starts their stuff by saying, "Hi, hey guys." I genuinely look at that word now as being hey people.
I certainly don't say it meaning, but I do understand. Now someone's pointed it out to me, and
I don't even know if I can say girls. Is girls demeaning because it implies
not ladies,
young, and because it's guys and gals, wasn't it? That was can't say
just be like sup team.
So now gang or team, just safer, isn't it?
Sup team. Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, but thanks
Can't
to
believe
our
that,
team.
Gary. Well, if Gary Vee gets it wrong, there's hope for us all then.
Yeah. Well, he was just being vulnerable, honest. So, yeah, just a big thanks to our team. Obviously, they edit these each week. They get them out.
Are they patient?
I think so.
They have to be patient with us, do you think?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good guys. Most employers would say there are days where you think, I just wish it was us. But there are many more days where, thank God I've got a team. Because to try and do it all on your own, especially in this game, you'll burn yourself out because it's such a almost 24/7 job.
Yeah, and the last 12 months at Codebreak have been 100 mile an hour. And these guys have pulled off some awesome stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people won't be able to hack it.
Yeah.
Got to be honest.
And then thanks to our guests. Now, I'm sorry if I've missed anyone, and you might point out if I have, but obviously Chad Stone were on the podcast very early on, and they've been on again since. They were an awesome guest. So they're an accountancy practice that do things with a difference, a fresh perspective, and, launched their own beer.
We got some over there.
Got probably the coolest office I've ever seen.
The hangar.
They hired a cinema for Christmas to invite all their friends and colleagues and clients for charity. And that was bloody awesome. They do an annual charity quiz. They're a cool company.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Team For You. They were on our podcast Early Doors as well. And
Nick and Jess, love them.
And so the People Effect is their tagline. And they're a cool recruitment agency doing things a bit different, very much based around ethics and relationships. And thanks to Jake Buchanan, one of my old school friends, who's now head of content at the Prince's Trust.
Oh, yes, that was a good one.
Cool guy, knows his shit. Really grateful for that. Thanks to Dale Edwards, actor friend of mine, came on, basically told me I need to pull my finger out and be more authentic on camera, but
don't cry.
Really, really useful. Big thanks to Mark Lloyd. So he's the games developer, studio head at Rockstar Lincoln. Really, really great insights on the pod. And then most recently, Emily Leyland from Fresh Perspective. And I think you've had a few guests over time as well.
Yeah, Chris Pallett, Bespoke Computing. He's got his own podcast now, Control Alt Speak. So well worth a listen. And thanks to Chris, because I was his first guest, ironically. Dave Courtine, Mosaic Spine Health Groups. That was a really good one, talking about health and fitness. But Dave's ultimately responsible for hundreds of employees. So if ever we think we've got it tough with our sort of team of around 10, there are people out there who's like, how on earth do you do it?
Yeah.
And you do it by having a good team around you. Because it is, again, as tempting as it may be to do it on your own. And there are some marketing consultants out there who it's just them, and that's great. But that's not what I want.
Yeah.
That's not what you want. Not that we want to have an agency of 50 people either. But no, that was a good one. Dave's always got a lot of time, a lot of respect for Dave. So he was a cool guest.
Yeah, I spoke
that
to
was
somebody.
A long time ago now, I think.
It was a long time ago. Yeah. I spoke to somebody last night. They grew their business so successfully that it got to the point where they didn't know a lot of the stuff because it was so big. And he said it was really strange, really, really strange. So yeah, massive thank you to wives, family, friends, our team. Anybody that's been a guest, we're incredibly grateful, and we're really, really looking forward to the next 100 episodes. Yeah. And on that note, we have got some cool guests coming up. We are going to be talking to some of the leading figures from the marketing world in America across the pond on the Stay Hungry podcast.
Really excited. And of course, thank you so much to all you, I was going to say guys, I can't say that now. Thanks to all you people out there who've been listening and watching. We appreciate the support. We get loads of messages and stuff saying how much they're getting a lot out of the podcast. And that's all we want to do. Share what we've learned over the years, the hard way and the easy way.
And just don't forget to subscribe on your favourite platform, because we're going to keep putting these out 2 a week and we ain't going to stop.
Awesome.
And remember,
stay hungry.